Mr. President.
Senator from Delaware.
Well, the senator from Alaska is still here. I just been sitting here listening to a tour de force. God, what a wonderful, wonderful speech, and clearly from the heart. For those, Mr. President, presiding officer and I are recovering governors, and the senator's father was a recovering governor at one time, and actually, one of the smartest things he ever did, he appointed his daughter to serve. There was a vacancy in the Senate. He appointed Lisa to serve out that vacancy. And 2 years later, Tony Knowles, who was a governor of Alaska, ran against her. Tony's one of my closest friends. We're governors together for 6 years, and I said, oh my God, this is a hard choice, and it's a hard choice for the folks from Alaska to make as well. And Lisa was elected to the Senate and served with distinction. And when she ran for re-election as a Republican, I think, was defeated in a primary, and then turned around and ran a write-in campaign that I'll never forget, and I'm sure she won't either. And in a write-in campaign, one of the cleverest political maneuvers I've ever seen. Murkowski is not an easy name to write in, and not everybody in Alaska, even though it's a famous name, knew how to write Murkowski. And my recollection, Mr. President, is the Murkowski committee's campaign folks were smart enough to distribute flyers and messages throughout the state that had a picture of a drawing, a cartoon of a cow on skis with a bubble coming out of the cow's mouth with the word Mur+Cow+Ski. And she won rather handily in a write-in race, and serves with us today. We've talked a lot here today, Madam President, about the bridges. And when I was in college at Ohio State as Navy ROTC midshipman and was driving down to Florida to visit my parents and a close friend, and we drove across a bridge across the Ohio River. And I want to say, actually, I think the date was 1967, December 15th, 1967. We're on our way to my parents in Florida, and the next day, the bridge that we'd gone across collapsed into the Ohio River between Point Pleasant, West Virginia, and Canaga, Ohio. 46 people were killed. 46 people were killed. I'll never forget that. And whenever we talk about the need to address our poor condition bridges, I remember that. And for the folks who had other loved ones, lost loved ones that day, they remember that too. We've gone through some troubled waters here in the Capitol, and the Senate, and in the House, in our country, in the recent months, weeks, years, and they're still troubled. And it's just great to have a bridge over troubled waters like you to carry us carry us through. And I just want to thank you for your great work in so many different ways, but also with respect to the Gang of 22 and keeping people on track. And you make your family proud, and I think all of us proud. So thank you. Thank you. We've been joined by a fellow from Louisiana, and I understand we're also going to be joined shortly by the fellow from Ohio, Senator Portman, who's going to come onto the floor at any minute, I think, to give his remarks. And I don't know if the gentleman from Louisiana is here to speak shortly or not, but we look forward to whatever he has to say. While we're waiting for Senator Portman to arrive, Madam President, I ask unanimous consent that Heather Dean, a fellow with the Senate Committee on Environment and Public Works, be given floor privileges for the duration of the 117th Congress.
Without objection.
Thank you, Madam President. And we've now been joined by the senator from Ohio, successor to George Winovich, one of my closest friends, governor, U.S. senator, and happy to had a great conversation with him in my hideaway last week, and very grateful to him for his extraordinary leadership through these troubled waters, and being another one of those bridges over troubled waters. Happy to yield the floor